Merry meet, very souls, it is Niina and you're watching Fairy Chamber channel. Have you ever heard from the Klabautermann or Klabautermann? Hope I'm pronouncing that right. I should, because I studied German for freaking 9 years. And anyway, Klabautermann is a character for mostly Germanic folklore, but I'm sure you can find it from many other folktales as well, from different countries and cultures. But this character, it's not particularly linked to Germany, it's mostly linked to Baltic Sea, because this character is a ship elf or something like that. Those of you who have watched my videos, especially about the fairy species now for a longer time, I hope you have started to understand that belief for so-called invisible spirits that was extremely strong in the pagan times all over the world. But even when Europe as a whole was pretty much becoming more and more Christianized as a continent, still belief for these invisible spirits remained, but it was considered as silly superstitions then, or old wives' tale, or akkojenhöpinät, or whatever you want to call them. But still, this belief, it remained for a long time. I think the biggest down happened when the Industrial Revolution started, and that's when we go from this environment that is mostly nature-based to this environment that is mostly about concrete world that is built by humans and machines. So there's no space there for invisible spirits that were mostly born from human imagination and the world, natural world surrounding them. So it's very interesting. But this is what happened to Klabautermann or Klabautermann. He was a spirit that took care of the ships in the Baltic Sea, or lived in a ship. You know, in many countries like in Finland or in Denmark or in Sweden, we have characters like Nisse and Tonttu, these kind of spirits that are very attached into a certain place. Like in Finland, it's usually houses or churches or castles. There's invisible spirit that takes care of that particular place. You can find creatures like that also from Germany, from German folklore, but they're not there as common as they are in Scandinavian folklore. Klabautermann, good jolly sailor spirit who lived in a boat or in a ship, and they knew all about the winds and being a sailor. Klabautermann understood the watercraft, understood about everything about the Baltic Sea, and it was a sailor spirit, an invisible sailor spirit. So Klabautermann, you could actually find similar character from myths from Denmark, from Estonia, from Finland, and probably from Sweden as well, and Germany, from all the cultures that were sailing in the Baltic Sea. But of course, the creature would have different name in these different cultures, obviously, but in the end it might be the same creature, just with different name and maybe a bit different tasks. Klabautermann especially, he was believed to be a good singer, like many of the sailors were. Klabautermann, he loved ships and ship maintenance, and he was described to be this very short old man, like, you know, Tonttu in Finland, or Nisse in Denmark, an elf sort of, with a brown beard many times, and a yellow striped shirt, very sailoristic, and a blue hat. Probably not like my hat, but some kind of blue hat. He also liked to smoke pipe. Klabautermann, he was very work-oriented. He knew how to haul an anchor. He liked to scrub the decks. One very common feature for Klabautermann was that if he saw some sailor to be very lazy, he would pinch them and tell them to go back to work. So Klabautermann, he was not to be seen. He was invisible spirit, like most spirits are. But then people had very strong faith for him. The sailormen had very strong faith for Klabautermann, and it was actually believed that if a sailor would see Klabautermann, it would mean disaster. They would die, or the ship would sink, or there would be a massive storm, so seeing him would be a bad omen. But it was important to keep him pleased, and how do you keep invisible sailor spirit pleased? Well, of course, you take very good care of the ship. If a sailor would wash overboard, then Klabautermann might save them, if he would see them that they are worth of saving, of course. It is the sailor spirit of the Baltic Sea, and there's lots of ship traffic still today in the Baltic Sea. I believe for the Klabautermann it probably died in the 19th century, where you don't need so much to rely on winds or the current, but the ships that rely on engines and motors and stuff like that. So that really, in a way, killed the belief for the Klabautermann. I heard from this creature. I heard about it for the first time when I started to do this research, but I find it very interesting. So thank you for watching, guys, and I will see you on my next video. Take care and bye!